Dana will be delving into her experience and will be completing her innovative planning pathway this morning. So let's welcome Dana Holland with her speech, Things Change. Things Change, Dana Holland.
If you had asked me a year ago if I'd be here, the answer would be a resounding no. I just had a baby. I was trying to be a mom, to figuring out all life with 4 kids. And I had no real plans other than healing. But for any of you who know me, I get a little antsy and I like to start doing things and figuring out new things and have new goals. So by January, I was just pumped to figure out what my goals were going to be over the next few months. And I'd gotten this idea from actually one of our old friends, September, where it was to do 22 goals for 2022. And I was super, super excited about it. So up until this morning, this specific little goal list was on my fridge. And I want to bring your attention to goal number 13, which says, get through level 2 of Toastmasters. So at that point, I felt that that was completely sufficient for a goal for 2022. I felt I had lots of other things I was really working on, really wanted to just kind of diversify all the different things I was involved in, do stuff with my kids. And that was just how I felt. But today, as all of you know, with regards to Mitch and Freddie, this is my final speech with my innovative planning pathway. So I've actually gone 4 times further than what I originally thought I could do. That's a pretty amazing concept for a lot of us. So sometimes we think something, but really we can just continue to move forward and see where we can go. So what is it that causes change? Motivation? You see yourself, you see a bigger picture, gaining momentum in that direction because that's where you want to go. Excitement? All of these things. I think all of these things pertain to why we choose to change. So as you know from lots of my previous speeches, I realized that you could really choose your own adventure with Toastmasters. And I wanted to change my approach. So with regards to doing our reInvent speakers series, one of my focuses that I talked about was taking action. And that's literally been something that I've wanted to continue to do throughout my life, and I practice what I preach. So I had an idea for a level 5 pathway, for a level 5 project, and I decided to go with it. My idea was wellness, do a wellness project. And then I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do with all of this after I looked through all the criteria? And I emailed people. They're like, you got to get a team. So I emailed people that I felt could match my topic and talk about different things that I thought would match them because of what I've learned about them in the past year. And so I felt super prepared. I had a topic, I had a plan, I had an idea, I had a tentative date that I felt we could complete all of this by if everyone got on board. I was good to go. I understood what a level 5 project was. But I want to go into detail as to what actually happened over the past 3 months, because things change. So we all met for our initial meeting, and it's very interesting that when you get a bunch of people together, especially with great minds, ideas flow and opinions come across. And when you have a lot of great minds, not everyone has the same opinion. Who would have known that? I definitely did, because I have my own opinions on a lot of things. But the cool thing was we were able to talk and we were able to have discussions and brainstorm. And I realized that my topic, even though the wellness can encompass so many things, not everyone related to potentially the topic I had given to them. And so then we started talking about it. But we still felt that that could still work with a wellness umbrella. So we got on our WhatsApp, we started communicating lots about theme, mission, our purpose, all of those types of things. And things began to change. I felt good originally because I had my speech. I was going to be talking on situational awareness, and I felt awesome. I was like, I have a speech, so now I can really work on the leadership portion of my level 5. And I was pretty dang confident in that. We had our first change happen when it became a fundraiser. And the thing is about fundraisers that some of you may not understand is that you can't really have the full Toastmasters umbrella under it. So when it comes to promotion and invitations, we can't just like send out a huge email to every Toastmaster that we know and get everyone to come to celebrate us and to cheer us on. And so we had to think about that a little bit differently, had a couple meetings about that and what it actually entails and what it means. And so that was a change, but it was a really good, knowledgeable one for me because now I know for the future. The second change happened when one of the speakers had a change and they felt they weren't going to be prepared. And, you know, I was super proud of that person because they were looking at themselves and our topic had become this authentic realness piece. And they recognized, I won't be able to do this, but I can do this. And I was proud of that person. And I was like, you know what, this gives me also an opportunity to adapt. So we were able to adapt. And this person who just mentioned that I couldn't say her name. So Joelle actually took on a different role and she was the moderator, which ended up being a phenomenal position for her. And she did awesome. But she also brought another name to the table, which was Misty. And I wanted to approach Misty in a really good way and be like, hey, I want you to be part of this. I didn't want her to feel like you're the last pulling you in because that's not how I do things. And so she came in and she was really excited about it. And then I listened to her speech. And it was awesome. But I realized my speech wouldn't match. So I became a little stressed, overwhelmed with everything that was going on, and I had to rewrite a speech. I had to come up with something because I was going to be presenting in less than a month. And it was really difficult. The point is, I persevered, I worked through it, I had a wonderful team. And ultimately, in the end, every single one of us were super proud of ourselves. What we accomplished in a short 3 months, we made a difference and inspired change and perseverance in others. We raised over $800 to give security, food, and education to a bunch of youth in Zambia. We sold 86 seats to our event with 60 people in attendance. We had a goal and we succeeded. So when it comes to your level 5 project, there will be things you might get really well. You might have the people, you might have the meetings in line, your vision, your plan, maybe even have your first speech like I did. But there are so many great lessons that you're going to learn from it. And some of the things I learned were that great leaders need to receive feedback and adapt. The second was stay positive because things change and you can't stop it. A big one that I learned from Joko. You don't know what you don't know. Now, I have to do a big shout out to Joko because she took on a lot of responsibility when it came to some of the leadership. And there was just lots of things behind the scenes that I didn't realize you had to do. I had a document at home, but then she had this document that she was able to put on the screen for everyone to see. And we were all able to follow it. And it was wonderful. And I learned a lot about like, wow, that's what I can do on this Google type document. We can have all this information for everyone to see. And then when it came to the promotions, for most of you who know, internet, Facebook, Instagram, they're not my jam. I'm not great at them when it came to actually making money with regards to the fundraiser portion. I had no idea how to do that. Felipe took that on and I was so grateful. But I was also honest. And I think that was the cool thing is that I also recognized things that I was not good at. I was able to reach out to my team and say, is someone willing to do this? Because I know that I will not be successful in that in this short time period. Doesn't mean I can't learn. And that was another thing I learned. Doesn't mean I can't do it. It just means I may not be the most efficient person to get the job done. And so I realized with my whole team, including the people who came in later to do our chat, like our Zoom chat with Braden, and to run our whole Zoom thing with Freddie, it was a huge team effort. Now, a big takeaway. I had a goal and a vision that allowed my teammates to stretch themselves. We were able to complete TED-type talks, which some of us had goals for. We found time that we did not have. Okay, that's very clear. We pushed boundaries. We stepped out of our comfort zone, both personally and professionally. And each of us was able to utilize this project to catapult ourselves in a direction for some specific area of our life. I would work with this group in a heartbeat, and I'm so grateful I had the opportunity to learn from these very talented, dynamic people. Things will change in your life, be positive, take things in stride, and most importantly, have the right team.